approved by the president and so enrolled as a law of the Federal Republic. Once that is done, registration will entail setting up of standards. Because you can regulate, you must have a register. And the register is also done in such a way that there is a scheme of understanding of the flow. And when we talk about professional registration, what is the major focus here is about talking about the roles, the practice, and how it also flows. As it relates to social work, I want to be very specific. We have categorizations of registrant in the social work that the Chartered Institute is actually registering. You have those colleagues with MBA or diploma in social work or related fields like social development, community development, and so on. You also have higher diploma holders and or advanced diploma holders, and some institutions may also execute. We have first degree, second degree, and other and PhD as well. So for the social work, the Chartered Institute of Social Work, we recognize the role of social workers to be all inclusive. And for almost every profession, it's very difficult to have one carer operating and doing everything that has to do with the service of that profession. So we categorize our practitioners into auxiliary. The auxiliary social worker is a person with diploma in social work. But having diploma in social work does not automatically make you an auxiliary social worker. You must be trained and registered and licensed to deliver your social work service at the auxiliary level. We will now also have the executive officers in the social work area who are holders of higher diploma or any qualification higher than national diploma. We then have the officers area who are degree holders and above. Of course, the functions and roles are specific. There are duties and responsibilities of the diploma holders. There are duties and responsibilities of higher diploma holders, same with degree holders. This categorization is not something that is very original from the institute. It is something we our services. Almost every state has a structure of a service ranking. You have those who are auxiliaries, you have those who are executive, you have those who are officers, and so on, based on qualifications, and the role also flow along that same line. So just being a diploma holder, like I said, high diploma holders or degree holders, doesn't really translate you to a social work registered person. So you must have to be inducted. Before you get inducted, you get satisfied. After being certified and inducted, you now get listed into the membership. This is usually done once in the life of the practitioner. Then what is left with the practitioners is the next aspect we have to talk about. The next aspect of the practitioner for purpose of regulation is called licensing. And what does licensing mean? Licensing means power to practice for a duration, because we have not seen, I'm not even part of a license that is for life. Licenses are given either 6 months, 1 year, and 24 months. The maximum I've had is 36 months. And these licenses are renewable, and license doesn't mean that once you are issued license, you go to sit in your office and come back and present for renewal. For a responsible professional like us, they ask you for added knowledge. What you have learned in the school cannot survive the lifespan of your practice, because various professions are dynamics. A lot of things happen within the social milieu, economic milieu, international influence, and so on. Then it requires that practitioners need to update before they can meet up with the current practice situation. And that is what licenses check. Licenses make sure that you update, make sure you've added to knowledge you are current, and you are also able to practice given the current dispensation. So that license requires that skills are renewed. You also have renewal of attitude. Every professional or all professionals require a certain level of an attitudinal aspect of it. There's the way you behave, and somebody will look at you and say, oh, this man appears to be like a mechanic. He did not see mechanic written on your face, but his attitude is a little bit synonymous to the mechanic. I'm not saying mechanic is wrong or it's bad or something like that. There are certain things you do, and people take a look at you without you showing your qualification. They kind of ascribe you to a particular profession, which means there are set of attitude that are on ground that we must be able to know. And then those attitudes are renewed from time to time. But when we talk about renewal of license, it's not about just attending a workshop or attending a conference and renew your license. You renew your knowledge, you renew your skill, and also renew your attitude. At your place of work, when you are growing older in the practice, some other colleague will say, oh, this man has changed. Oh, this woman has changed. What informed they have seen you as a changed person is an aspect that has also developed over time from your skills, from your knowledge, and from your attitude. And sometimes somebody can be described, a professional can be described as somebody behaving as if he was trained yesterday. What they are telling you is that you did not build up on your attitude. You didn't build up on your knowledge, you build up on your skill. They will now say, okay, this man is still behaving as somebody that just completed school yesterday. So licensing helps to check this. It helps to also provide a kind of a precursor for you moving ahead. So at the level of licensing, you are constantly responsible. If you don't have a license to practice, you are a quack. A quack does not mean that you did not study social work in school. You don't have your PhD, you don't have your master's degree. A quack is a person who is practicing without license. Just like you can drive your car, you are an expert in driving. When your license expires, you are driving as a quack. You have to be arrested because you need to continue to have a license that is potent for you to continue to practice. So quackery doesn't mean that you don't go to school. You can go to school to the highest level, but once you do not have a license any longer, it means you have no right of practice. So license bestow what we call right of practice. So for anybody that is having a license, the decision will be trusted. If you get into some professional offices, you can see them display their current licenses in their offices. And what they simply say in that case is that don't ask me any question, I am competent to practice. If you travel outside, and some of our colleagues here in Nigeria, if people will ask you questions, they will not just start talking to you or getting you engaged because they refer them to you as a social worker. So for people not to ask you so much questions, when they sit in your office, they stand around to see what gives you the power to do what you are doing. And that explains why the licensing is important. If you do not have a license, your decision may not be trusted. And your trust on deliveries may not also be taken seriously. What do I mean here? If a person is a medical practitioner, a surgeon with a license, right? I give an example. You take in patients. Sometimes they lose patients also not because of their medical. The way a surgeon who took the patient into the surgery and come out losing the patient will be questioned is different from the way a person who has no license took in a patient anywhere. And once you come out, your questions will be different. Even what you want to explain will not be taken by anybody because you really don't even have any trust in the first instance to deliver such service. Even if you are a trained surgeon, your license potency is first before we talk about the issues of delivery. So social work is safe, as we know. And this is aspect that is being renewed. And I told you that it's not renewed based on just going to school or just studying. It's renewed also with the fact that your attitude and other aspects of your skills also have to come up to speed to meet with what is currently in practice. Then for very serious professions like social work is one of the most serious professions. And that has explained why we are putting in the effort we are seeing to make sure that it stands as a very serious profession. It is difficult for people to do whatever they want to do, not accountable to anybody. Nobody questions you, nobody asks you questions. Anything you say is taken the way you have said it. It is difficult for someone to be called a profession. So in the establishment of Act number 25 of 2002, the Act speaks and said clearly that a practitioner of social work needs to be issued with a stamp and seal. Those of us who are lawyers, engineers, architects will understand what we are talking about. So if you pick any architectural design that does not have a stamp and seal of a registered architect, it simply will mean that that person don't have power to actually put up that design. Same is for social workers. 2025, we'll go into the training for issuance of stamp and seal. This stamp and seal simply means that if a social worker initiates a document and you are a registered social worker and licensed, you need to put your stamp and seal on that document. And wherever that document goes to, that document speaks of you as a registered person. And when issues also arise anywhere, you are traceable. They hold you accountable, and they hold the institution that issue you stamp and seal accountable. You will also be faced with issues of litigation because there's a law. The Social Work Act we have is a law. If you also read, you find out that there's tribunals, there's other panels and things like that. So when you are faced with issues of litigation, your institution will come into that. If you were not empowered to do what you did, we have no business with you. If you're empowered to do what you are supposed to do, and you didn't also do it well, the way you're supposed to do, the panel takes care of you. So free will practice, practicing on desires and how you want to do things has long gone. The day the law was enacted, free will has been thrown to the dustbin. It is now a regulated profession. So stamp and seal actually provide authority for you to decide. If you are taking a decision after writing a report or writing a recommendation to the court, social workers have so much powers. There are so much advice powers because you can advise a court to remove a child from a family. Am I right or wrong? So if you decide that the child should be placed in the family, not the child's family, you must have done your groundwork and homework, right or wrong. You also decide that somebody is given a child to keep or to adopt. It is your decision that the court will follow. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Great. So when those decisions are found to be faulty out of our inefficiency, errors, or maybe not doing what we are supposed to do in any form, it becomes a problem. With the stamp and seal, who took that decision? Who did the house, what do they call it, house assessment, will also indicate that I did the house assessment. The court of law will not take a decision, they will not have a person identifiable that is actually advising the court on this matter. So the lawyer or the magistrate will not bother going to assess the house. If somebody who has been present with the power to do that has done them and put his or stamp and seal with a special number that is just identified only in the whole Nigeria on paper. So that person has taken his profession, has taken his certificate, and so on. This is what the stamp and seal really will bring out. So we are coming up with this to make every practitioner have their unique identity. And if you have anybody that is working without being licensed by the institute, also working without having the stamp and seal, that person can do any work he wants to do. But when it comes to taking those work to where such decision will be taken, the stamp and seal will be required. Then you may be consulted by lawyers and other architects who may not be potent to seal documents. Am I right now? When you finish your work, you wait. They bring it to you, you assess and seal and charge. Because when other architects are sealing your document, they have a charge for that. You take responsibility of good discipline and making sure that that thing is in order. So it's important to understand that social work is now a regulated profession. The act setting up the Social Work Institute has actually been properly enrolled in the Supreme Court. And by the time we are working to that level, you would not be surprised or you will not think that what you see in the act is a paper. It is not paper. They are all documents that we need to be able to get familiar with. So I think I've been able to talk. Registration here, the licensing, stamp and seal within the time allotted to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Can we appreciate it more than that? Thank you, sir, Prof. We are grateful. And now, I want to go to the only woman on the panel. And I have the honor to call on Barrister. I don't want to be biased.